Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. We're appreciative of you spending some time with us this evening. Our goals are very simple. They hopefully are straightforward and fairly quick. We want to give a 10,000 foot view of our St. Ignatius High School financial aid process, what that looks like for you, what that looks like on our side, on your side, and how we're able to make St. Ignatius and the St. Ignatius education attainable for all families of all situations and all financial situations and means as well. My name is Michael Palangi. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions here at St. Ignatius High School. And I am joined by Amy Allen, who is our Senior Associate of Tuition and Financial Aid. And we are going to go over, as I said, a kind of a 10,000 foot view of the process on our end to give you an understanding of what things that you need to know as potential applicants to St. Ignatius High School and how we are able to help you to make that a reality on your end as well. Amy's going to spend quite a bit of time talking about the financial aid process and going into some more detail. She is the expert on those pieces. But before we do that, I want to again give somewhat of a 10,000 foot view of the admissions process as well. So you have an understanding of what the timeline looks like, when you need to be on the ball or get things done, or when things are due. And so to give you a sense of our admissions timeline, it is here straight from our website. So these items are there for you to see and sign up for in many cases as well. Our admissions process really begins in September with Wildcat for a Day, which is an experience for 8th grade students to come and visit and spend the day with another student, sometimes that they know or from their current grade school, or maybe someone who's interested in similar things to them. But seeing what the school is like on an everyday basis and what it's like, not just when the bells and whistles are out, and what's it like for an actual student. And so that's a really great opportunity for your son to get to know the school and gain an understanding of who we are and what we do inside and outside of the classroom. Along with Wildcat for a Day in the fall, we have an open house. Our open house this fall will be on September 24th, which is a Sunday. And we will be kind of a full open campus with all teachers and coaches and faculty and staff members on deck to give a full understanding of who we are as a school. For those families who missed that opportunity, we'll be doing Wildcat family tours as we have done in the past, which are Wednesdays for 6 to 8 weeks. It will be a little less bells and whistles. It'll be a student tour guide, giving you a tour around campus after school and gaining an understanding of the buildings, of who we are, what we do from that perspective of a student. The next most important piece are admissions and placement tests, which is the HSPT. We'll be offering 3 HSPT tests this fall, October 21st, November 4th, and November 15th. And those are dates that the student can take the test there 1 time or 3 times. We really don't mind either way, but it's an opportunity for them to take the test, get an understanding of it, and submit a score to us so we have an understanding of them as a student. Another piece you'll see on this is the financial aid or FACTS application, which is due on November 10th. I know that seems somewhat early, and Amy Allen is going to speak to that here shortly of why it is on November 10th and what that looks like for you and how that process kind of shakes out. The other 2 dates I want to point out, first would be the diocesan decision week. So that's for families with students in diocesan schools and Catholic grade schools. Those decisions, those applications are due January 8th through the 12th, and those come directly from the school. Those in Catholic grade schools truly don't have to worry about too much, as that is really handled for you, and then walk you through the process step by step to make sure you have and understand everything that you need. If you are not in a diocesan school, your process is slightly different. Those applications are due at the end of the month, January 28th, and your school is probably not going to give you quite as much information. So that's certainly what we're here for, to give you an understanding of what you need to know and what you need to do, and so on. So here, those are the dates that I wanted to talk about, just being important as we enter the fall semester here in and what the process looks like for those families interested in applying to the school. I want to introduce Amy Allen, as I mentioned, our Senior Associate for Tuition and Financial Aid, who's going to talk a little bit about the financial aid process with specifics. Please know that there are things that are generalities that we can look at in that 10,000-foot view, and there are things that we know are very specific. And so if there are questions that you have throughout the time Amy is giving her financial aid presentation, the question and answer piece of this webinar is open. You are certainly welcome to submit questions, and at the end, we'll answer any that we feel as though we didn't answer. But if you have a specific question that you believe maybe would take a little bit more context, reaching out to Amy directly, either by email or by phone, both shown here, would be the best way to go about it. Again, we can talk and we'll try to answer the general questions, but anything specific, please reach out to Amy specifically. So Amy, take it away.
Thanks, Michael. And thank you, parents. I know you're very busy running your kids around, making dinner and all of those things. So we really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us to learn more about the financial aid process and what's possible here at St. Ignatius High School. So we wanted to take this time before your son starts 8th grade, or if he's younger than that, that's great too, to demystify the process and let you know what to expect well before you have any due dates coming or any decisions that you need to make or any actions need to be taken. So first I wanted to piggyback off of Michael's timeline, and we have that November 10th due date for our financial aid application. And I know that's a most frequently asked question is, why is that so early? I don't even know if my son wants to attend. I don't even know if he's accepted, but there is a good reason for that. And it's actually twofold. It's our Catholic school students, when they apply in January, they can only have their application sent to one school. So you want to know, if you apply by that November 10th date, we'll have your tuition obligation to you by the end of December. So you'll know before your son has to apply and pick a school to apply to, you'll know what your tuition obligation would be. And the second reason we have that so early, for all students, is once that acceptance goes out in February, our timeline is very quick with asking you to commit. That'll happen in March. So there isn't really enough time to process financial aid after that. It certainly can be done, but if you want that decision and to know what you would be expecting to pay before you have to make decisions, we need that financial aid application in by that November date. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is we're going to talk about the financial aid philosophy that we go by here at St. Ignatius High School. And our overall philosophy when determining financial aid is that we want any young man that is accepted and wants to attend at St. Ignatius High School to be able to attend and not let financial reasons be that stumbling block to why he does not come. So that's what we're putting all our effort into right now. And I think we do a really good job. There's a couple ways we do that. We have needs blind admissions. So our admissions department will not see your son's financial aid award. They won't know if he applied for financial aid. They won't know anything about your economic situation when they're looking at the admissions decision. That gives us a really economically diverse population. And I can say I've heard people say, oh, St. Ignatius is for rich kids. And I can honestly say that we have an extremely economic diverse population here at St. Ignatius High School. Yes, we do have families that can't afford and do afford full tuition, but we run the gamut all the way. We have lots of middle class, and we have families that grandparents are raising the kids. We have all different economic situations, and that's part of our mission and part of our goal is to be economically diverse and serve all those students that do get accepted. I've also heard, well, I can't afford $19,000. That's too much. there is a sticker shock. And that being said, we have a lot of programs to reduce tuition, and those are what I'm going to go through now. So Michael put up our first slide here, and it shows two of the big ways you can reduce tuition. And these are both programs funded by St. Ignatius High School. The first is our merit scholarships. Our merit scholarships are offered to students who score 93 to 99 on the HSP test, that admissions test he was talking about. And 93 to a 96 is worth $3,000 renewable. And a 97 to 99 would earn your son $6,000 renewable scholarships. So that's your first way to kind of lower that tuition with that test score. The second way that St. Ignatius offers aid is through the need-based tuition assistance. We partner with a company called FACS that you would fill out an application, and I'll go over how that works in a little bit. You'd fill out an application and we determine your financial need. We partner with FACS. You answer a bunch of questions, upload your tax documents, and then that's what we base that award on. This slide shows for 22-23, our tuition is $19,950, and that's where that sticker shock comes in that I was talking about. But there are ways to reduce that. We have $8 million distributed through the school. And that's on top, that's not including funds from other places. That's what the school distributes. And 55% of our students receive need-based financial assistance. Now that number gets a lot higher if we talk about merit scholarships and outside awards through the state. That 55% is just showing the need-based tuition assistance through FACS. Okay, so Michael, if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. So I wanted to break down financial aid awarded a little bit for you. Like I mentioned, we do partner with FACS. All the Catholic schools, we use the same application. The applications are due right around the same time. You would need your 2022 tax documents to answer the questions, and you'll upload those. And then, like I said, you'd receive your award notification late December. So here's a breakdown of our awards for the 2022-2023 school year. You can see on that final column, the average financial aid plus voucher a family received at a particular income level. Now these are averages, so I wouldn't take your income and go across and look at that's what you're expected to pay. And these do not include merit awards. So the factors that go into our financial aid decisions, other than income, include family size, number of children in Catholic school that you're paying for, your source of income, lifestyle factors, self-employment versus W-2 employment, and any other unique situations or factors. Okay, go ahead, Michael. Next slide, thank you.
Yep.
This graph shows the 2022-23 awards in a slightly different way. The red line shows the number of students receiving awards as income rises. So as you can see, the bulk of our awards are that's like a middle class award right there, the bump in the red line. And our blue line shows your net tuition paid. So as income goes up, net tuition does go up, and the number of students receiving aid decreases as income increases. And this is where I should also mention with scholarships and financial aid that St. Ignatius does not offer any scholarships outside of the merit and the financial aid. We do not offer sports scholarships. We don't offer scholarships for music or any of specialty scholarships. Everything runs through that FACS financial aid application here at St. Ignatius. Another way that you can reduce tuition is that we do participate in the Ohio Department of Education, Cleveland, and EdChoice programs. Now, the Cleveland program is available to any student who is assigned to a Cleveland public school if they were to go to public school. You don't have to be attending public school now. It's just where you would be assigned if you were to attend public school. So that's the Cleveland Scholarship. The next program offered by the state of Ohio is the EdChoice Scholarship. The EdChoice Scholarship is available to students living in certain school districts assigned to certain school buildings that are deemed underperforming by the state of Ohio. Every year, the state of Ohio creates a list of schools that are underperforming. If your public school is on that list, you can apply for an EdChoice Scholarship. Currently, I know Cleveland Heights is on that list. I don't know if they'll remain on the list, but they are now. But some schools in Lorain are, some schools in Elyria, Parma are not. Parma used to be EdChoice. They are not anymore. But that list gets updated every year, so we always keep an eye on that. The next program, and it's a little confusing because it's also called EdChoice, is called EdChoice Expansion. This is something you're going to be hearing a lot about. This is being discussed in the state of Ohio right now. But what this is an income-based program that grants scholarships to students. This is not dependent on where you live. You can live anywhere in the state of Ohio and be eligible for an EdChoice Expansion Scholarship. The current EdChoice Expansion Scholarship guidelines are on your left. Currently, families that's gross income is at 250% of poverty level or below are eligible to receive an EdChoice Expansion Scholarship. Currently, in the state of Ohio, the Ohio Senate and the Ohio House are discussing the budget that will be enacted for the next 2 years. Their deadline to get this budget enacted is June 30th, so that's when we'll find out. But both houses have proposed this 450% of poverty level increase to the EdChoice Expansion Program. That means that if your family's gross income for a family size of 4 is $135,000, you would be eligible for an EdChoice Expansion Scholarship. So this is something to keep your eye on. We're going to blast out emails as soon as we know what this budget is going to be. That's going to happen the first week of July is when we'll be notifying people. Currently, the scholarship is worth $7,500, so this will affect a lot of families. It will be a big deal. Like I said, we'll keep you posted on that. People often ask me if they can stack scholarships here and how does that work? And I just wanted to address that really quickly. Some scholarships you can, and it does affect your financial aid though. So say your son is eligible, he earns $6,000 merit scholarship, and then you also become EdChoice eligible. That's $7,500. So those stack. So right there you have $13,500 off of your tuition. That may or may not affect your financial aid depending on the situation. So when you look at those financial aid charts, keep in mind that those do include EdChoice, but not merit. So it's kind of when I'm asked, do they stack? Well, yes and no. Sometimes some things can stack. Sometimes your financial aid will be affected. And that's because the goal of financial aid is to make that tuition affordable to a family. So we're trying to be really good stewards with that money. We want to make sure everybody that does get in can afford St. Ignatius. Also, that money that we receive for financial aid is given to us by our benefactors. So we have to be good stewards and use that fairly and wisely. So being fair and trying to make it affordable for everyone are always our goals. That being said, we know that it is a huge sacrifice to send your son to private high school, to St. Ignatius. We appreciate all of our families that decide to send their children here, and we understand that it is a sacrifice. That is why we we do stick to being very good stewards with your tuition dollars, with our benefactor dollars. But I think as you go through this process, whether it's this fall or next fall or however old your son is of learning about the school, you will see that it is a sacrifice that I think is worth it. This is a special place to be. This is a phenomenal school. If you have any questions anytime about any of this process, we're always here to help. We want to make this possible. And that's all.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Amy,
Michael.
so much. I really appreciate it. Amy is the expert on all things financial aid. And so we get calls at admissions all the time. And I promise you, I will send you right down to Amy because she's able to answer them much better than I can. And she made a point at the beginning that I think is important as well. We truly do not know who does and who doesn't apply for financial aid. It's completely separate in the two offices. And so when we admit a student, when we look at a student, we're trying to create the best possible class for St. Ignatius High School. And we let her and her team handle that piece of it. And we're really, really appreciative that we're able to look at things like that and able to be
we call it needs blind.
Needs blind. That's a great word. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Yes,
right.
thank you.
Because I know a lot of the schools in the area are needs aware. And that's is a big difference. Needs aware means they know and they have to get a class based on what the needs are. Like they can't accept too many. That there's we'll accept. That doesn't matter. We'll figure out the financial aid. We'll figure out that raising that financial aid after. Our goal is to get the kids in that deserve to be here and that want to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's really, really important. As Amy has said a couple of times, and I want to reiterate, we want to make St. Ignatius affordable for everyone. I am lucky enough that I graduated from St. Ignatius in 2006. I am not from a family who ever thought they could afford it. If you could ask my dad, he'd still tell you he doesn't know how he did it. But I'm so glad he did because it certainly put me on a different path than I would have been. And this place truly, truly, truly is special. This place does wonderful things for students. It is special and unique, and we hope to be able to share it with as many people as we can. There are a few questions that have come in as we've gone, and so Amy, I'm going to ask you to answer a few of these.
I will try my best.
And we should be able to hopefully handle them. So the first one, and I know we talked about this today, is how soon can the FAFSA application be completed?
Oh, that's right. I was supposed to mention that. The diocese controls that FAFSA application opening date. So it will not open till late September. I will blast email. We have your email. We'll blast email, or the admissions team will, to let you know as soon as we know when that's going to open, and we'll remind you when it opens, and we'll remind you before the due date. We will give you lots and lots of reminders, but we will let you know as soon as we know.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, that is true for all schools across the diocese. So this application will be consistent in that sense.
Yes.
The other question that I'm seeing is asking whether or not financial aid is a loan or is it seen as an award or gift?
This is a gift. Our financial aid is a gift. We do not have loans for it. It is a true gift from our team and our people that have worked hard to raise this money, and people that love St. Ignatius and donate money for the purpose of lowering tuition for other students.
Yeah. And Amy said the number earlier, but I think it's an impressive and important number that we give out about $8 million a year in financial aid to families over the four grades, of course, but somewhere in that $8 million range. And so we truly have an investment in wanting to make this school attainable for all families. As I work with families in the admissions office, I know finances is one of the biggest things that comes up, and it's one of the biggest worries, and it should be. I totally get it. But please know that this is something that we're really committed to. That's really important to us. And we're going to continue to do everything we can to get to the point where we can make it possible for everyone. Another good question. Do we need to fill out multiple FAFSA applications if we're looking at more than one school?
No, and that is the beauty of having it through the diocese. I mean, We don't get to control the dates, but there is only one application for all the schools. And what you'll do is when you fill out the application, it'll ask you to list all the schools. Each school that you list will get a copy of your financial aid application. There may be a couple different questions that a particular school asks that we don't, so there might be a little extra to do, but you just have to do it once.
Another good question that I think I may be able to answer. I work with the merit scholarships quite a bit. Does the student have to qualify yearly for the merit scholarships, or does that applied yearly if the student scores in the eligibility range before enrolling? And that is an automatic gift that you receive annually. There are some criteria to it. We've never, to my knowledge, removed that gift from any student. I think it would have to really, the grades would have to really fall off. But no, if a student has become eligible for that gift based on their test score, that is automatically applied yearly for 4 years.
And Michael, I forget if we mentioned or not, but we do accept test scores from other schools. So if you take the test at St. Ignatius, we'll automatically have your score. If you take the test at another school, make sure you get those scores to us by December 4th.
Correct. And we certainly prefer that you take the test here. We'd love for you to take it here. If you want to take it here and take it another place and send us the best score, we will take it. Whatever is the best score is the one we are going to use when we determine their eligibility for that Ignatian scholarship. Another good question, are there any other fees other than tuition, such as books or transportation?
So we do not have any book fees. We don't have transportation fees because we do not offer transportation. We do offer discounted bus passes, and I believe there are free bus passes based on income through the city of Cleveland. But what a lot of kids do for transportation is carpool. You can sign up to be on a carpool list, and then at the beginning of the year, I think it's August, our principal's office will send out that carpool list, and it'll be up to you to carpool. But we other fees, no, we try to include everything in the cost of tuition. There is a $250 registration fee for freshmen. That's freshman year only, and that you would pay in March. You would receive your acceptance in February, and that would be like your commitment. You would pay your $250 as down and say, yes, I'm coming to St. Ignatius. But no book fees, anything that's mandatory is included. If you choose things like a sport or a special club that has costs attached to it, you'll know from that coach or that club moderator. But we try to keep those down, but nothing mandatory.
And those costs, just so you're aware, generally sports aren't cost driven. There may be a fee for a piece of gear that they, all wear or something along those lines. But, the football team doesn't need to pay to be on the team. I think the only one that has a fee associated with it's hockey, and that's because of the ice time. If there are any other questions, we certainly would be willing to answer them. We know that the financial aid piece, again, is very specific in many occasions, and your situation is often different than others. And so if questions do come up that are specific to you, you're certainly welcome to send an email or give a call to Amy. I'll go back to her contact information. She is by far the best qualified person to speak to this, and we'll be able to give you a great understanding of the answers. One more did come in, though, as I was talking to Amy, talking about an increase in tuition. How often do we increase tuition?
So we do, tuition does increase every year. Historically, we've been between 4% and over the last 5 years. I've only gone back 5 years to look, and it's historically between about 4% and 6%. People often ask me, well, what happens with financial aid? And that really depends on your situation. If your income remains relatively the same, you're going to expect relatively the same award. Now, if your income does increase year by year, your financial aid would be reduced. So there's not a 4-year guarantee. We do look at things really thoroughly every single year. A lot of families do pay the tuition increase. Some get a split. We cover some, they cover some, and some can't afford the tuition increase, and that is rolled into financial aid. So it really does depend on the particular situation, but the tuition cost does increase every year.
Okay. I thank you all for your time and spending some time with us this evening. We are really, really appreciative that you were able to join us and give some of your evening. We know there's a lot going on in these early summer months as you're probably chasing a son around and driving him here and there and all sorts of places. So we are appreciative. If and when questions do come up, please do not hesitate to reach out, whether to me or the admissions office, myself, or Pat O'Rourke or Nikki Galmarini. We'd love to have conversations and help you in any way that we can, or specific financial aid questions. Amy Allen is the person to go to, and she'll be able to help you in any way. So thank you all very much. We really appreciate your time. Have a great night, and we hope to see you in the fall throughout our admission cycle.
Yeah, thank you.